Hey everyone, the professor here, and well, over my shoulder, that is a pretty interesting weekly candle that closed last week. So we closed on this doji candle, as you can see there, with a pretty even wick to the top side and to the bottom side. So the question is, where do we think crude oil is going? Let's get into it. Okay, so first let's kind of get into some news. You are looking here at the WTI yearly chart, and WTI crude oil futures dipped by 0.3% to settle at about 75.56 on Friday as investors consider the potential supply disruptions from the Middle East conflict and the effects of Hurricane Milton on fuel demand in Florida. Now, still, the US benchmark marked their second consecutive weekly gain and has surged over 10% since Iran's missile attack on Israel. The rally has been fueled by geopolitical tensions in the Middle East, particularly Israel's potential retaliation to Iran's missile attack. Hurricane Milton also contributed to short term fuel demand in Florida, although long term consumption could be dampened by the storm's aftermath. On the demand side, the outlook improved after top crude importer China unveiled a new draft law to promote private sector growth, aiming to boost investor confidence amid an economic slowdown. Now, crude oil increased 3.84 barrels or 5.36% since the beginning of 2024, according to Trading on a Contract Difference, or a CFD, that tracks the benchmark market for this commodity. Crude oil is expected to trade at around 68 to 69 by the end of this quarter, according to Trading Economics global macro models and analyst expectations. Looking forward, we estimate to trade at about 73.82 over the next 12 months. So again, with global tension and an election year in the United States, we have to make sure that we focus on trading what we see, and don't be surprised if you see some huge spikes with crude oil for the remainder of the year. So again, to emphasize why trading smaller lot sizes, whether micros on futures or in the Forex account, can save you, especially when there's a lot of global news and things happening with crude oil. So let's go ahead now and start on this weekly analysis. So let's draw a fib level from this high to this low. And we can see right in here that we had the opportunity to short crude oil last week. And we did inside of our trading club because we realized that on a higher time frame, we were looking at structure, we were looking at a Fibonacci level. And so when we look at this level from a 5-minute perspective, and let's go ahead and just zoom in here so you can begin to see where that sell began to happen, you saw that we began to look at this area right in here. Okay. So again, this is why by looking at the larger time frames and having a strategy, having a plan for your trades, you definitely want to look at what's happening on the higher time frames because that's where institutional money is happening. But we can find, as retail traders, we can find solid entries on these lower time frames. Okay, so now back on the weekly. Again, this was that rejection point that we just showed you on the 5-minute time frame. And I'm going to leave these levels here because, again, this is where the institutional money is being traded. As we drop down into the daily chart here, we now will begin to look for price action on these daily levels. So let's start analyzing and see what was kind of happening right in here as we target this area right here. So we can see here that we closed on Friday in a bearish candle. You can see this wick right here dropped and grabbed 50% liquidity from the previous day candle. So this initial movement right in here is possibly signaling that the buyers have re-entered here at the close on Friday, and we could possibly see price moving somewhat to the up direction at the beginning of this week. So again, we will be looking out for that. But again, we have to make sure that we are focusing in on these levels as we move through the various time frames. When we drop over to the 8-hour chart, now we want to start aligning our zones. And again, we want to kind of look at price action and what price is doing in this area right in here. First of all, let's grab this trend line, and we are going to go ahead and see that right now we've got 2 touch points. My opinion, this is not yet validated as a strong trend line until we get that 3rd touch in this area, but it is noteworthy to take a look at it. Number 2, we saw that price did reject up here at this level. And if we go over to the left, we can see that price has come pretty close to these levels before. So we will find out early this week if this wick here trapped buyers and was the outlier, and they're looking to bring price further down. So we will be looking out for that as we go through this analysis today. So we are going to drop a link right in here, and we're going to make this white, okay, to kind of show the rejection point of this candle here that did not close above 77.50. We're just going to call it 77.50. So we have not closed above 77.50 since July 17th of 2024. Okay, so we have not been able to close above, and that's pretty important to know that. Okay, because once we close above 77.50, then we're going to see 79s and 80s happening again. But in the meantime, if we look at the big structure point here and we zoom out as we did on this 8-hour chart, again, very important to note that we've been to this level here once, twice, 3, 4, and now 5 with a wick, again, the possible outlier, trapping buyers, and then price coming back down. So this area right here is going to be crucial as we move throughout the week. So talking about the week, I want to encourage you to check out our trading community. You can head down below to theprofessortrades.com. You can come in and join us. We now have over 500 members within our community. And again, a great opportunity for you to come in and receive real-time trade alerts. More importantly, you can definitely jump into our feed here. And again, we've got folks who are sharing charts, who are definitely engaged. And this is where you can expedite your learning curve. This is where you can expedite your growth when you are in a like-minded community, a learning community with people sharing constantly 24 hours. Even if you're in Europe, people are trading the London session here. So we're going to invite you into the community. On top of that, you can definitely take advantage of things like our Traders Toolbox, where I share weekly articles. For example, yesterday on the Wyckoff theory. So you can come in and you're getting massive, massive value for less than $1 a day. Free video courses, all embedded within my platform. So I encourage you to check that out today. Okay, so now getting back into the charts, we are now on this 4-hour chart. And you can see here that really we've been in this consolidation phase here for quite a while. Okay, and so what I want to do now is I want to kind of mark this level right here. And the reason why I want to mark that level right there is because we really have not had a closure below, let's just call it 75.10 or so, and this 76.30 area. So there is going to be a breakout of this area at some point where price is going to break out to the top side, or price is going to break out back toward the bottom side. So as we drop to the 1 hour, I want to be able to give you some possible short and long positions based on this possible breakout. So you can see here that on the 1 hour, we have begun to kind of ride this smaller trend line on the 1 hour. Okay. And again, our top is still this area right in here. So in essence, we have price trapped in this area. So crude oil right now is very inconclusive. Of course, there is going to be a Sunday market open that we will be trading live inside of our community. And again, we look for substantial gaps, not only on crude oil, but with all the indices and the metals as well. So looking at this price action right here, very unclear on the direction on they're going to break higher or lower. But what I want to do is I want to drop down to the 30-minute chart. And on this 30-minute chart, I want to give you the opportunity, and I'm going to get rid of these big arrows here, to have maybe a position pending for this possible breakout. Trading in this area here is going to be very difficult. There'll be some scalping opportunities, but again, very, very difficult to trade when you're in so much consolidation. So if we are going to see a breakout above 76.24, you should be looking for a long position that begins above the zone, trying to take it to the next zone. And really, you don't want to afford yourself too much of an area for a stop loss. So we want to kind of go right below the low on a 15-minute. So I'm going to move over to the 15-minute chart. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of keep this price action right at this level right here. You can see that this has kind of been a previous resistance level, turn support. So we want to keep that stop loss area right below that area right in there. Now, to the flip side, on the 15-minute chart, what we want to do is we want to give you a shorting opportunity that would look something like this. Again, kind of going right back to this level right here and trying to possibly short this all the way back down to the bottom of this trend line. Okay, so you've got a couple of opportunities here, but you're going to have to use smaller lot sizing because, again, crude oil will move very fast, and this will not be dependent on what happens if there's any major Sunday gap opportunities. Now, the key focus in any of these setups will always be the same. You want to protect your trade, okay, after 20 points. And what that means is if price has changed by 20 cents, we call that points. Okay, you want to protect your trade with crude oil because, again, it can move very fast, but it'll allow you to secure some profits. So that doesn't matter if it's to the top side or to the bottom side. The moment that you are up 20 points, you want to protect your trade. Some folks are just cashing out at 20 points because they're trading it on the futures market as well, and vice versa down here. Once price moves 20 points, you want to protect your trade. So just to give you a visual, if you go onto this entry right in here, 20 points doesn't need to go too far. That is 20 points right there. Okay, so price entering at 76.32, you would be cashing out at 76.52 to the top side. If we do this to the bottom side, looking at an entry here, you're taking 20 points. So again, looking at an entry of about 75.12 and exiting at 74.92, or securing your profits after 20. And really the reason for doing this is that you can protect your assets and you can grow your accounts. It's one of the things that we do, especially with newer folks. I give you a growth plan, and my focus is that we help you catch 20 points every day in the market. So by the end of the week, you've had the opportunity to catch 100 points on that one account. That's your long-term growth account. We give you a growth chart to follow, so it's much, much easier for you to have that smaller growth each and every day and build consistency. Because if you're going to stay in the game of trading, as I have for 9 years, you have to build consistent positive habits, or anyone can have a great week or a great month or even a great year. But will you be around 6, 7, 8 years later still doing this? You can only do that if you're building consistent habits. And this is why I focus so much time in the club on trading psychology, building good habits, and again, why being in a community is so, so important. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope you got some value. If you did, smash the like button for me. If you're brand new, subscribe. Don't miss out. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but we have our 1-year anniversary coming up for our trading group. I've got some amazing stuff coming up, including some free courses that I'm going to be dropping both here to our YouTube members. Those of you in the YouTube membership area, you can always check that out as well, or to our free YouTube community, and of course, inside the trading club as well. So we have a lot of great content coming up and some surprises as we near the end of November 2024, which we will be celebrating our first year in our trading club. And I just wanted to say thank you. I'm extremely humbled that over 500 folks have trusted in me to join our club, be active in our club, commit to the club. And what we're seeing in the success stories have been absolutely amazing. And again, the main reason why I keep my price point so low across the industry is because I want to make sure that I can impact people in Africa and Asia and Singapore and India. No matter where you are at, you can come in for less than $1 a day. And I can guarantee you that you will make your membership monthly back, or you don't pay. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.